Okay, so it's holiday season. You're going to a bunch of parties. You're going to be running into people you haven't seen all year. And you may find yourself in a situation where it's awkward. And people are trying to have conversations with you. Maybe you just don't feel like you're in the mood to have a conversation, or maybe you do. You don't know what to say. And if that's you, I want to share with you my top 5 tips on how to never have an awkward conversation again. But I just want to let you know that I remember being at many parties and talking to people or meeting new people and just being like dead silence, like crickets. Like, and you're standing there and you're kind of like, it's almost like being on an elevator, right? What do most people do when they're on an elevator? Well, they don't even look up anymore. They're looking down. They're looking at their phones. It's just awkward, right? And now you can use these tips in any situation. But I wanted to share it with you now because I know there's a lot of Christmas parties going on, New Year's coming up, and you're going to be meeting people and having conversations, and some people just don't know what to say and they don't know how to keep a conversation going. And what I'm going to share with you, you'll be able to keep conversations going for hours and hours and hours and be able to control it and literally like never run out of things to talk to. So, and let me give you just 2 quick tips, right, before I get into the 5. Just two little secrets, okay? Number 1, you always want to compliment someone, right? And make sure, well, before that, make sure it's genuine. Be genuine. Like, if you just don't like the person for whatever reason, that's your prerogative. Don't give a false compliment. So just make sure it's genuine. So hopefully you're talking to people that you really want to be talking to, and maybe you just don't know what to say. So be genuine. Compliment them, okay? Find something, maybe it's their shirt or it's their shoes or just find something about them. Ladies, maybe it's their lipstick or their earrings or it's their complexion. Just find something that you can compliment them on because everybody loves to be complimented, right? And number 2 is asking questions, okay? So always keep that in the back of your mind. You want to ask questions because remember, the most important thing about having a conversation with somebody is they want to talk about themselves. They don't want to hear you. They want to talk about themselves, okay? So be a good listener. And you do that by asking questions. Okay, so let's get into my 5 tips. It's an acronym that you want to write down. It's an acronym called GFORM. It's generic, family, occupation, recreation, and motivation. Okay, so let's talk about G. So generic. So when I first meet somebody, I'm very, generic. After the, hey, how are you? My name is Mike. It's nice to meet you. I'm very, where are you from? After all that generic stuff, right? And they tell you where they're from. Here's what I usually always say, and some of you guys may have heard me say this, is, are you from here originally? Now, I don't live where I originally grew up at, and I know a lot of people don't, especially if you're in maybe a city where there's a lot of transplants, from other cities. I like to say, hey, where are you from here originally? And listen, they're going to go on and tell you, no, I'm not. I'm originally from here. And then, listen, you always want to be listening because they're going to say something that you're going to be able to relate to. I'm from this city or I'm from here. And, I know somebody from there, right? So that's just a G. And I'm telling you, you could go on for hours just being generic, asking generic questions. Number 2 is family. Now, I will preface this by saying family is very touchy. So be very delicate, okay? You want to be, right? You're genuinely interested about their family. I would avoid asking specific questions. Hey, how many brothers and sisters do you have? That's very specific. I wouldn't. Here's why. What if one of their brothers or sisters died? Something tragic happened, right? And now you're bringing up all these bad feelings, right? Here's what you want to say. Listen, I used to do all this stuff. Like there was many times that I would say things, I'm like, I can't believe I just said that. That was so stupid of me. And I would put my foot in my mouth. And once you say it, you can't get it back, right? So, family. Here's how you ask about family. Hey, do you have a big family? And that's a generic question. And the reason why you ask, hey, do you have a big family? The reason is, let them divulge what information they want to tell you about their family. Listen, if they just lost a close family member, they might not want to tell you that. And if they do, that's their choice. So you ask them, hey, do you have a big family? Oh, well, yeah, I have. And you don't want to ask, hey, how's your mom doing? What if their mother just passed away? Again, be generic. Hey, do you have a big family? Or how's your family? Like if you know them, how's your family doing? Let them tell you what they want to tell you. Because when you start asking specific questions, if it brings up a bad, memory, like if somebody would ask me, well, how's your this person doing? Well, they're not doing good. They're in jail. They just got, 5 DUIs. Or they just died. Like it's not good. And it just brings up all these bad emotions and I don't want to talk to you anymore, right? So be generic and let them divulge what they want to divulge. Okay, now O is occupation. Okay, hey, what do you do for a living? And they tell you. Okay, here's a great follow-up question to that. Instead of, you just ask them, hey, what do you do for a living? They say, oh, well, I'm a machine operator. And you just stop talking. I've been in those conversations too where we're just awkward. Oh, okay. I can't relate to any machine operator. So now what do we talk about? Here's how you follow up with that. How did you get into that? Here's another one. How long have you been doing that for? See, when you ask them questions, hey, how did you get into that? They're going to tell you. And it's probably going to be a long story, right? So, right, by now you're going on for, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, right? Unless the person is just a total dud. Now, if you're starting to ask some genuine questions because you really want to know about them, and they're a total dud, you got to figure out if you want to keep going on, right? And how much more do you want to learn about this person when they seem like a total, like they're just, not that there's anything wrong with them, they're just boring, So, and we're going to run into those people. Now, recreation, hey, what do you like to do for fun? Right? So they already told you about their job. They already told about your family. Now you want to, hey, what do you do for fun? What do you like to do? What are your interests? And they start telling you. And literally you can pick each, like if they have multiple interests, like you can spend hours on each one, right? And then M is motivation. Hey, what motivates you? What are you passionate about? And then they start telling you. One thing that I like to ask is, hey, what are your long-term goals? You've been doing XYZ for 10 years, 20 years. Hey, what are your long-term goals? I always like to know what people's goals are. And if they're just like, listen, I just want to, lay on the couch and collect off the government and I don't want to do anything, that, for me, that's probably a person that I'm going to stop conversating with because I want to go talk to somebody else who has some goals, just, right? Because that's going to bring me down, right? Because I'm not that type of person. So, right, so this is something that, no, this is live. This is live, Willow. I'm glad you're all live. You threw me off for a second. But so when you're asking somebody about, their motivation and what motivates them, what their long-term goals are, what they are passionate about. Hey, what are you really passionate about? Listen, there's going to be some people that are like, man, I haven't thought about this in a long time. But at the end of all this, you know what they're going to be thinking to themselves? And, after the night's over or whatever, and they go on with their life, they're never going to forget you. They're never going, because people forget people. They don't forget how you made them feel. They may forget your face, they may forget your name, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And by you asking these genuine questions because you are genuine, they're going to be like, wow, that Willow, man, she was awesome. Like she really, and listen, when you're talking to people, here's another thing. This is important. Pay attention to them. Don't be looking around. Like, did you ever talk to somebody and you're looking at them and they start looking somewhere else and they're like this? You're like, are you even listening to me? Am I even important? Because that's what it does. It says that you're not important. Here's what you do when you talk to somebody. You look directly in their eyes, and I don't care who's around. I mean, unless it's an emergency, it doesn't matter who's around. Make them the number one person in your life at that time, because they are. They're taking time out of their life to spend time with you. Make it, like care, right? Or don't even have conversations with people, right? Now, and in closing, I'll leave you with this. Do you want to know how to stop having conversations, or how to get out of an awkward conversation? Maybe you're in a conversation where it's starting to get awkward. You know how to get out of it? Stop asking questions. Just stop, right? And then let it be awkward, silence, and then say, excuse me, I have to go to the bathroom, or excuse me, I have to whatever. I have to take this call, whatever. That's how you stop an awkward conversation. So listen, I hope you guys got some value out of this. Listen, use this stuff. It works, and you can use this all year round, not just in the holiday season. But I know a lot of people are going to be going to parties, running into people, and it's something that you should never be in a situation where it's awkward. And if you are, just remember the acronym GFORM and just find something to talk about. Just ask questions. That's all, and just be genuine, and you'll be fine. Have a Merry Christmas, everybody, and I look forward to seeing you guys real soon. Take care.